Hey folks, it's Echo here, and 2.0 our zombie friends have evolved, and now they can crawl through 1 meter spaces. Here's a quick test that I was running on my day 7 version of the Switchback, and they easily navigated right on through the fighting position, which is actually less than 1 meter. So as the zombies were gnawing on my corpse, I got to thinking it might be time for a little bit of testing, so I went ahead and set up a little obstacle course. And our test dummy Bo had no problem sliding right underneath. Next, I wanted to see if our test zombie would jump over, and it doesn't look like it, so I let him just sit there and beat at the block for a while. Now that test actually brings up an idea I have. Let's circle back to that. Next, I brought in a handful of zombies here to simulate more like Horde Night to see what happens once they start stacking up. And sure enough, they managed to get through. So now we've got a baseline established. I want to see how small of a hole they can fit through. So I tried them going through a 1 meter hole with a plate on the bottom. They fit right through that. And then you can see here with the pole plate, they also can eventually squeeze through. Next, I wanted to try out one of my standard fighting positions from 1.0. This is from the Switchback. It's got a pole 3-sided and a pole in the front, and then in the back, it's got a baluster rail and a pole plate half. And clearly you can tell it is not doing the job as the zombies are easily vaulting over it. All it takes is a few to stack up, and then they kick in with that crawl mechanic and it's game over. Now that I've shown you what doesn't work, let me show you what does. So this is a new solution that I'm working with. It's a very simple setup with 2 sets of pole doubles in the front, and then in the back you have 1 set of pole doubles on the top, and below that you have a scaffolding ladder. One other interesting change I noted in my testing here is it seems like the zombies are doing most of their damage to the bottom 2 blocks instead of the top 2 blocks like they did previously. Now let me show you a configuration I like to use, starting with a cube corner beveled so that you can get to the door when it's all closed up. So you'll put that in the corner, then you'll put the door right next to it. Go ahead and flip it up and cross across, come back and look back at the base, and you can put a scaffolding ladder in the back block. And then right above that, you're going to put a pole double, and then you'll put 2 pole doubles in the front. Right above that, you'll put a wedge 60, and then you'll put a wedge 60 tip off of that, and that'll force the zombies off to the side. Let's bring in a pack of test zombies and show you kind of how it works out. You'll see that with the door in the open position, the zombies can easily cross across it, but at any time if you find you're overwhelmed, you can just go and close the door and it will drop them to the ground. That little wedge in the left corner there allows you to reach in and easily flip the door back open so that they can start pathing across. One important thing to remember, you don't want to leave that door closed too long because they will start beating on the foundation of your base. If you want to build a 2-block wide fighting position, you can do it this way. Use a cube corner beveled again in the corner there and a cube. And then we're going to put in 2 doors, but we're going to change the orientation. Just make sure that the door handles are on the bottom so that when you flip it up, it presents a platform like that. Then we're going to do the same thing facing back and just rotate it around and bring it up. Next, we're going to widen the same format that we used before. So 2 scaffolding ladders, then we're going to put 2 pole doubles behind that. And then in the front, pole doubles, and then more pole doubles. And then right above that, we'll do a wedge 60, except for there's 2 of them, and then 2 wedge 60 tips. And I'll show you a quick example of how this one works in combat, as it's slightly different. Because you have 2 doors to be able to close, you can kind of change how you manage the zombies. You can close a single one, or you can dump them by just dropping one like this, or you can reach through and drop both. Now, to get that second door at the back, you're going to kind of have to crouch as you move forward, and then you can bring it back up, and then we'll bring up the other door like that. I'll let this play out for a second, but while this is, I will mention that if you're brand new to 7 Days to Die and don't understand the basics of building mechanics, I'll put a video up in the top right that you can check out that'll help out. I'm going to show you how to retrofit my 2 bases, the Seeker's Bane and the Switchback, but before I do that, I wanted to show you just a practical example here. For you new players, you don't have to build a full-on Horde base, especially in the early game. You can just take over an existing POI, preferably one made of concrete like this, and then we can simply build that exact same fighting position right on the edge of the building. Just make sure you have no other stairs or ladders or anything to get up to the rooftop, and if you do need to put a ladder for yourself, just make sure that it's 2 blocks off the ground so you can jump up, but the zombies can't. Now we're going to go ahead and do a retrofit of the fighting position on my base, the Switchback. I've got a full block by block tutorial you can check out, but retrofitting this is pretty easy. You're just going to take out these 4 blocks right here, and then the block right below that. We're going to put in a cube beveled corner right here, again with the angle facing towards the front. Then we're going to put a scaffolding ladder on top, and then back to our pole doubles. 1 set on the back, and then flip the angle around, and then put them on the front. And you're done. Next, we'll do a 2-block wide retrofit on my base, the Seeker's Bane. This one also has a tutorial and has a little bit more complicated of a retrofit. You're gonna have to take out this whole area here. It's kind of a 4x4 spot, And then you're going to take out the blocks above as well. Any of these angled blocks, we're going to take off the whole tip up here. And then if you're wondering why this has such a bizarre fighting position, it was designed to deal with a zombie type called Seekers, which are in the overhaul mod Rebirth, and they are 3.5 blocks tall, so they're massive. They also periodically explode, so super fun. All right, now that we've cleared that out, we're going to get back to our standard position than we did for the 2-block wide. So we're going to start off with scaffolding ladders down here. We don't have to deal with the cube beveled corner because it's already down there. Then above this, we're going to go with pole doubles. So 2 along the back, and then we're going to go 4 on the front face here. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now we're going to back up a little bit and fill this top area with 4 cubes along here. And then right above the last pole double, we're going to put a cube corner beveled, angled outward like that. Back up a little bit. And then we're going to put a wedge 60 tip right on top of it. And again, this is to force the zombies out. Once that's done, we're going to fill the 2 blocks above that with cubes. And then just to make things look interesting, we're going to use these gable pyramids on top of that, which also have an angle, but are going to kind of taper in a little bit on the sides to give some more character. So I have one more important tip to share related to this, but we got to go to Dashang Tower first. For as far back as I can remember, the hatch has been one of the most useful blocks in 7 Days to Die. You can throw it down on the ground, flip it up, and it provides an instant fighting position in a doorway. It's also extremely useful because you can easily flip it back down when needed. Now, I was afraid with that 1 meter crawl that the zombies would just vault over it, but when we did the initial testing, I was like, they didn't jump over that. And sure enough, I came back to Dashang Tower, where we've done the challenge multiple times here, just to see if it worked, and sure enough, it holds. Now, I assume if you have multiple zombies and they start to stack up on each other, you're still going to be hosed. Hey folks, it's Echo here. I hope that gives you some Horde base adjustment ideas for 2.0. As always, a huge thanks to my amazing supporters over here. I will see everyone on the next one. Cheers.